Good morning, everyone. Reggie and friends. Let's do the hands-on for some of the math essentials. That way you guys can see how I write it out on paper. I'm laying on the floor, and that's how you guys probably can do your math if you're tired of sitting up. I don't sit up for too long. So we're going to go into graphing. So I'm going to show you how to graph inequalities. For example, I'll do number 48, number 49, and number 50 in this video. I'm going to draw out the x-axis, the number line, okay? So that we could bubble in or not bubble in, whatever the inequality is, okay? You're not going to bubble in a number if it is less than or greater than a number. You don't bubble that in. The only time you bubble in the circle is if there's an equal sign underneath that less than. Or if you see a line, that means it's equal. Less than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Okay? So I'm going to do the hands-on so you could see how you draw a graph for inequalities. All right? Thank you. Okay, guys, I am going to explain this problem, number 48. Then I'll explain number 49 and number 50 on the back side of the paper. Okay, so we're going to graph inequalities. Okay, we're doing number 48, which is R less than or equal to -3. That means our starting point on the number line will be a -3, right? You're going to include this -3 because of this equal. This -3 is included. Include. Let's put a note. Include -3. So if you're going to include -3, you're going to have a bubble like this filled in. Okay? So practice making a note before you even start. So here, and then you see this sign, less than, that means your arrow is going to be like this. That means all these numbers go in this direction, included -3. So here's our number line. Let's say this is 0. This is positive 1, 2, 3. Here's -1, -2, -3, -4, all the way to infinity, right? You see that? So we're going to start. This is our starting point. Start here. Start at -3. So here is -3, and I said that we're going to bubble it in. Bubble it in. And which direction? What numbers would be R? All these numbers right here are less than. These are less than. These would be R. Okay? So we would shade in all these numbers. That's what the graph would look like. That's what the line would look like, okay? So this is what it looks like. It looks like for this answer. So -3 is included. Okay, what about number 49? Problem number 49 says n less than or equal to +2. Here's +2. Let's draw a number line, a separate number line for that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to infinity. We're not even going to look, oh yeah, it's less than, right? -1, -2, -3, -4, all the way to infinity. You see that it's less than, you see this equal sign. So you're going to what? Bubble in. You start here. You start at +2 right here. And remember, we're going to bubble it because of this. So you bubble in +2. And which direction are you going? You see that? You're going left. That means all these numbers are less than +2. So this is what it looks like. Easy, right? So this is what it looks like. Okay? So when you write it out, I'm not going to have you write it out because I don't want to confuse you. That's a different section. It would look like this. It would look like this. You'll learn about that later, or maybe you already know. Right? That's what the set would look like. Let's do number 50 real quick. Number 50, you have to kind of solve number 50. Do some problem solving here. Use your brains for number 50. Look at number 50. It has a -b in there. Okay? -b. Now, number 50. Draw my number line. And the problem is 2 is less than -b. We cannot have a -b. It's not a -b. All right? Let's do some advanced algebra here to get rid of that -b. So if the problem is 2 is less than -1b, right? -1b, there's only one b here. So we don't want this -1 next to the b. So we have to get rid of this -1. How do you get rid of a number that's sticking to the variable? So the next step is to, let's show that we're going to get rid of the -1 by dividing it by itself. You see that? So that you get rid of it. If you divide, and you bring this down, if you divide by -1 on this side, you have to divide by -1 on this side. You see that? So now our final answer is -2 divided by 1. -2. That's the answer, is less than what's left. Remember, this disappeared. So your answer is B. -2 is less than B. Okay, here's our number line. 0, 1, 2, 3. -1, -2, -3, all to infinity, right? So there is no equal sign here. So you're starting at -2. According to this answer, you're starting at -2. So you're going to have a circle. You don't bubble it in. You start at -2. Negative 2 is less than b. So if this is the least, if this is the least number you could have, these are the greater, these are bigger than it, right? If this is the smallest, so you're going this direction. So that means all these are B, 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 B. B goes this direction. Okay? So B goes the opposite direction of the original problem. So you start at negative 2 all the way to infinity. That's the answer. Okay, that's for number 50. Okay, and I hope that helped you. I hope it did not confuse you. But this is very important. This section, this is problem solution. This is how you get to this answer. Or you could just flip it. What they did was the opposite of positive 2 is negative 2. Whenever you take this negative and you put it over here, you see that? You just flip it. Whenever there's a negative variable, flip it and put it on the other side. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, guys, we're going to continue with graphing. We're going to do number 51. We're going to sketch the graph of each line. All right, and we're going to end up with, I'm going to show you a secret on how to look at your answers. We're talking about slopes. This is a little more advanced. So kind of pay attention to how I do each step. All right. We're going to end up with some advanced formula. So it's very important that you remember your basic steps in algebra. You cannot forget how to divide. You cannot forget how to add and subtract your numbers, okay, your positives and your negatives, okay? All right. For example, for your Math Essentials number 51, by the time I finish solving all my problems, doing my calculation, I end up with a positive slope, which is this positive slope, my slope. This is your slope. It's a positive 4 over positive 3. So out of these graphs, positive is this positive slash. So I have to choose one of these answers here, positive slope. This is a negative slope going backwards. Okay? That's a backward slash. The forward slash is positive. All right? That's the trick. For number 51, we have our answer is a positive slope. For number 52, it's a negative slope. So you're going to choose between these two slopes right here. It's a negative slope. Okay? You have to know the difference between a positive slope and a negative slope. All right? So let's go ahead and write it out. Okay, just bear in mind that you cannot, for math, you cannot forget your basic addition and subtraction. Your basic division. You know, when do you divide and when do you not divide? Okay? So let's work on number 51. I am going to write it down. I'm laying on the floor so that I can be comfortable doing this. Number 51, we're going to sketch the graph of each line. Number 51. (4x minus 3y equal -6). we're trying to get it into the formula y equal mx plus b. Okay? We need it to look like this at the end. So we need our y. Where's our y? Y is negative 3y equal the x. Where's the x? Here's the x, but it belongs on this side of the equal sign. So this positive 4, we're going to move it over here. When you move that, when you do that transition, that positive 4 become a negative 4x. And you're keeping your minus 6. Okay? That's the b portion. Here's the b portion. Here's the slope. And here's the y portion. There's your equal sign. Okay? Now, we need to isolate this y by itself because we have to have a y by itself. So, in order to get this to be by itself, you have to divide this negative 3 by itself. If you divide by negative 3 on this side of the equal sign, you have to divide each of these by negative 3. Here's this section. Negative 6 divided by negative 3. That's very, very important, guys. That's the first step. Next step. So now you're left with this cancel itself out. So you're left with y is equal to, look at this, negative and negative cancel itself out. You see that? So now you're left with 4 over 3x. And look at this one again. These negative cancel itself out. And then 6 divided by 3 is what? 2. 2 is the same as what? Positive 2, right? So it'll be a plus sign here. So here's my formula. Y equal mx plus b. Y equal mx plus b. See it? This is m. M means rise over run. That means you're going to go up the axis, up the y-axis 4 spaces, and you're going to go across 3 spaces. That's what the rise over, that's what the M stands for, okay? Remember, M is rise over run. Y over X. Okay? Y is at the top of your Y over run. Rise over run. Okay, let's move on. So, we are now going to plot this on our graph sheet. So, what happens here is my answer was y equal positive 4x over positive 3, right? Plus y, plus 3, plus 2, I mean. You're going to start at the y-intercept. You start at this y-intercept. This is your y line. You're going to start at positive 2. Positive 2. See that? That's your starting point. The first point is positive 2. You're going to rise, what? 4. 2 and 2 is 4. And you're going to run on the x-axis, going this direction, 3 spaces. 2 and a half is 3 spaces. So here's your next point. You see that? You could just draw your line through these 2 points. But I want to prove it going the opposite direction. So if you start at positive 2 on the y-axis and you go down 4 points, The opposite of positive 4 is negative 4. You go down 4 and you go left 3. Okay? So you start at positive 2. You go down 2 and 2 is 4. Down 4. You go across 3. 2 and a half. 2 plus 1 is 3. That's your second point. You see that? So right here, if you go down again, 2 and 2 is 4. This is halfway between, this is 2 spaces, so half of 2 is 1. So this is 1 plus 2 is 3. This is my other point. So there's your line. Remember I said that the slash, forward slash, means it's a positive. Okay, so this is going all the way to infinity. It doesn't end. So that's my answer for number 51. Number 52, on the other hand, by the time you finish solving this, you end up with a negative slope. You're going to end up going 1 and 1. You start, for this one, your answer is here. You start at negative 2. You go down 1. It's negative 2 over positive 1, and you run 1. You 1 and 1. 1 and 1. 1 and 1. These points are touching. You see that? But it's a negative slope. Backward slash. Okay? I could work out the problem for you for number 52 so you could see it. Let's work it out on the sheet of paper. It's very, you can't confuse it with the forward slash, because these two were very close, but you got to catch your own mistakes. Okay, and that's what I did. I caught my own error. Okay, let's do number 52. 52. We have x plus y equal negative 2. Remember, I'm trying to find this formula. Y equal mx plus b. That's how my final solution is going to look. So, I need y by itself, right? So we have now y is equal to, this is a positive x, so it become a negative x on this side. Negative x, right? Negative x, negative 2. Negative x is the same as negative 1x, negative 2. So my rise is negative 1. My run is positive 1. You see that? Rise, run. Therefore, on your graph, you're going to start at your starting point. You start at negative 2. Right? Here it is. I'm starting at negative 2. I'm going to rise 1. You're going to go down 1, I mean. See that? Down 1. Okay? Go down 1, which is halfway. Between 2 and 4 is 3. Down 1, across, positive, run 1. You go down 1, run 1. Down 1, run 1. See how it's joining? Down 1, run 1. So that's why your answer is B. Okay, here's your negative slash. Okay, remember I told you the secret. If your final answer for this y equal mx plus b is a negative here, negative, that means this tell you it's a negative slope. It's a backward slash. Okay, backward. Backward slash. Okay. Okay, let's move on to sketching the graph as far as shading. Okay, number 55. Y is less than 2x plus 3. You're going to, you see that what we have here is your y-intercept is positive 3. Right here is our starting point. We're starting at 3. This is the same as 2 over 1. You're rising 2 and you're running 1. Rise over run. Okay? So you're starting at 3, positive 3. You're going to go up 2. 1, 2, right here. 3 and 2 is 5. Right here at 5. And you're going to go across. You're going to run 1 right here. That's why there's a point right here. And if you do it the opposite way, if you start at 3 and you go down 2, 1, 2, right here, and you go over 1, you go left 1 now, you're going to have a point right here. Here you go again, you go down 1, 2, and you're going to go over 1, you're going to have a point right here. From here, you go down 1, 2, and you go across 1, you're going to have a point right here in the middle. 1, 2, go across 1 right here. This is why it's like this. Now you need to find out if you're going to shade this direction or this direction. Let's notice that less than or less than. That means there's a dot. These lines are broken. There is no equal to. There's a difference between a line that's not connected together and one that is connected. This is an equal to because it's a solid line. So this is already not the answer. This is already not the answer. It's either between this or this because of the broken line, because it's not equal. There's no equal to. This means there's an equal to sign. Okay? Now, to prove our 0, x is 0 and y is 0, do you shade in 0, 0? You have to solve it like this. This is your proof. You set the problem y is less than 2x plus 3. You set y at 0. You set x at 0 plus 3. So now you have 0 is less than 0 plus 3. Is 0 less than 3? 0 plus 3 is 3. Is 0 less than 3? Yes. Therefore, you're going to shade in 0, 0 because this formula proves that 0 is less than 3. So you're going to shade in the 0, 0, this point right here. You're going to shade in on this side of this line. This side of the line, the dotted line. Make sure 0, 0 is shaded. That's how you prove which direction you're going to shade. Okay? Let's do number 56. Y equal mx plus b. Now, y is equal, less than, or, y is greater than or equal to. See that equal sign? That means this is not your answer. This is not your answer. It's a solid line. Equal to, solid line. This is not your answer because it's a dotted line. So this is going to be my answer. But now, which direction are you going to shade? Okay. My proof is y is greater, the problem is y is greater than 7 over 5 x plus 4. That was the original problem. You set y at 0, greater than or equal to, you set this x at 0. Remember, this is 7 over 5x. You set the x at 0. So anything times 0, it gives you 0. Y is equal to 0 0 plus 4. Is 0 greater than 4? Is 0 greater than or equal to 4? No. 0 is not bigger than 4. So therefore, you do not shade in 0, 0. So this is why on this solid line, this equal to, you do not shade in 0, 0. You shade in to the left of the line. You see that? You shade in the left side of the line. You do not shade in 0, 0. So that means you do not shade this side of this line. You shade that side of the line. That's how you do number 55 and 56.